to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. It's time to do our next project recipe mashup. We have introduced our Endless Meadows collection, and I'm going to be mashing it up with It's Fall, Y'all, because why not mash up spring and fall? It just seemed like a fun idea to me. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I have our Endless Meadows designer paper. You actually do need 2 sheets of designer paper and 2 sheets of our tone-on-tone paper for this project recipe. I have picked the sheet with the yellow flowers and kind of a darker yellow background. And then that was my designer sheet, one of my designer sheets. My other one has the fern leaves and the little geometric design on the back for one of my tone-on-tones. And then for my base, you need 1 tone-on-tone and 1 designer sheet. So for my tone-on-tone, I picked this aqua-y, silvery blue looking paper that has the butterflies on the back. And my designer sheet has the birds and butterflies, and then just kind of a almost cloud look to the back of it. So I'm going to set aside my 2 sheets I'm going to use for my base. And we are going to begin with our border maker system. And our newest border maker cartridge is the Circle Chain. So this, again, if you need to substitute it, find one of your border maker cartridges that says chain on it, because that will come away from the paper. I've grabbed my silicone lined baking sheet again to collect some of my punch pieces. I've gone ahead and grabbed a baggie so I can collect the pieces that come off the punch, potentially to use for our scrap cards. We need to punch 3 times from our tone-on-tone page and 3 times from our designer page. And I'm going to punch, I believe, this direction, because when we place the chains on the page, we're going to be using both sides of our paper. And since my little design is running vertically, I kind of want to keep that going through the circles. So with your border maker system, you have a paper holder that has a little tray underneath it to help line up your paper. You fold that under, and then you line up the notches on the cutting guide along with the notch on the punch here, and then these 2 notches will fit in as you go along. Here we go. And there's our 3rd circle chain. We can see both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit before I start punching for my other paper here. Get this loaded into the bag. A little easier maybe than trying to pick all this stuff up. There we go. And then I am keeping these little strips that came off the punch as well. They kind of look like almost like grass blades, which kind of speaks to spring to me, and I think it might have a place in our cards. So we'll see what inspiration strikes me that day that I go to do the cards, but I'm going to keep it. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all 3 of these straight through also. That way I can speed up the video and reduce the sound so you all don't have to listen to me punching so much. But we are going to punch 3 from our designer sheet as well, using our Circle Chain border maker cartridge. Here we go. And again, pay attention to how your design is running on your paper. And there we go, all done with our border maker system. We've cut 3 strips from our designer paper. Earlier I cut 3 from our tone on tone. There we go. You can set your paper holder aside. Let me add these to my strips I'm saving for the cards. And put this into the baggie real quick here. Oops. Even trying to keep myself from collecting the scraps easier. Still, a few of them are trying to get away from me here. There we go, all clean. And set aside my baking mat and go ahead and seal up the bag. There's a lot of confetti this time. We're definitely gonna have to, I'm gonna have to try to think of a way to use some of this. This is a lot to just toss. So now let's see here. We need to pull out our 12-inch trimmers. And we are going to cut for our tone on tone sheet. We are going to cut a 5.5 inch by 12-inch piece. And I'm going to cut it on the opposite side from where I was punching. Just because I don't think it's quite a super even edge here. So this way now when I go to double check it, so we need 3 1/4 by 12. I'm going to put this at 3 1/4. And I'm going to take off anything that's uneven from my punching. There we go. It looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch strip. And I'm going to add that to my other strips I've collected from the punching. So set that aside. That's all our trimming on our tone on tone sheet. And we don't have any scraps from that one except for what we punched. Now for our designer sheet, we are going to be cutting some strips and some mats, and we are going to cut the mats first because they want us to use our wave blade for some of the strips. So we're going to do 6.5 inches first. So here's 6.5 with our straight blades, and then we're going to cut 4.5 inches twice. So we're cutting some mats here, 6.5 by 4.5. We have this strip is going to go for our cards, and now we need to switch over. Go ahead and fold in your arm. We're going to switch to the wave blade. And one of the nice things about our 12-inch trimmer is you can store all your blades underneath it along with an extra cutting mat. I'm already on my 4th cutting lane here, and it allows for at least 500 cuts, and I am almost there. So when you put in your crinkle blades, I like to have just one cutting strip designated for the crinkle blades because it does create a different effect on your cutting mat. And then when you go to cut straight afterwards, some of your straight cuts don't come out quite as clean. So it's up to you if you actually want to do that or not. You can always cut these still with your straight blades. However, I just find it's nice to just go ahead and change the strip underneath, and then that way you know you have a clean cut every time. It looks like we have a little bit off as well from our punching that we did. So I'm actually going to take 1/4 inch off, so that way we have our wave cuts on both parts here. Hang on, I don't know how wide they want us to make these. Just a moment. Our instructions don't actually list how wide to make our wave pieces, and so I am actually going to do 1/2 inch pieces off of mine, and I'm looking at this. I've got 1/4 of an inch I'm getting ready to take off, but I'm going to fussy cut this a little bit more because of the pattern on my paper. I want to cut it in this white area here. So it's good usually to take a little bit off your edges so that way you have clean edges for, well, you need to take a little bit off because you want to have both your wave going on both sides of your strips that you cut. And it looks like we're going to do about a 1/2 inch cut, but let me see what this winds up being. So this is going to go for our cards. That's going to be pretty on our cards. And it looks like we need roughly a 1/2 inch piece for our 2 strips. So it's going to be a 1/2 inch by 12 inches. Let me see here with my cutting guide if that's going to work out for me. I'm actually going to bring it over just a hair more. So mine's actually going to be, so what is that? 5/8 or so is what it looks like it's going to wind up being on mine. However, if you can do a 1/2 inch on yours, that's fine. You'll have a little bit more to work with for your cards. Yes, mine is going to be the 5/8. That looks like that's getting pretty much directly in between my stripe. So I have the flowers in a nice strip here with the wave going on either side. So I'm going to 5/8 again on my trimmer, and then I will double check it with my cutting guides to see if that's in between my 2 strips again. I need to bring it back just a hair. When it gets this small, it's a little bit harder to line up as well, but we'll get there. That looks pretty good. All right, here we go. So our second strip. And then this last piece is also going to get set aside for our cards. And I am actually going to go ahead and trim it as well at about 1/8 of an inch off of the edge here. So I have a nice deckled, or I'm sorry, wave edge to this end as well. My piece is a little bit slanted, go figure. It's okay, I don't mind. Oh, hang on, and then of course it just moved on me. So sometimes you just have to work with it a little bit here. And I'm not even going to use the cutting guides this time. I'm just going to try to maneuver it as best I can to get a wave going across my entire paper here, which it's not. Okay, so I had to move it closer to the 1/4 inch. And then I'm just going to pull off that last little bit. We're a little bit crinkled, a little bit angular, because I got a little impatient with it, but that's okay. It's actually going to look interesting on our cards, and I'll figure it out. We've got some interesting scraps this time. So don't forget to change both your blade and your cutting mat back to the correct places or where you were working before. So when you go to cut your straight cuts again, you will have nice, clean, straight cuts. Put your blade back underneath your trimmer. So we need to trim our borders that we punched, and I'm going to line all 3 up here because it looks like we need just varying lengths for our design of what we're going to lay out. on the page coming up. All right, so we're gonna make our first cut after 7 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's hope this goes a little bit more smoothly for me than the last cut. Check it with my cutting guide here. That looks perfect. So go through and you have a stack of 7 rings, and so this is just a little bit confusing, but it's okay. I've got it sorted out now. So you need to take 2 of yours and cut it between the 6 and so you have 6 and 4. Now that you've taken off your 7, so let's get this lined up and check it with your cutting guide, because you want to make sure you get through the middle of this. And then on your last one, so you're going to have several stacks of different sized rings when you're done here. So on your last one, you need to cut 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is directly in the middle of our chain here. So 5 and 5 on this last one. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing with our other 3 that we did from our designer paper. We're going to take all 3. Actually, we'll just take the 2. Might try to make our lives easier a little bit here. Oops. So we need to do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 7. Maybe it's easier to see on my reverse side. I think it is. So there was 7. Okay. Double check it. Where's my cutting guide here? Oops. It's getting away from me a little bit here. So 7 first, and then that goes on the 7 pile. You know what, did we have a 7 pile? Uh-oh, that was supposed to be 8. Shoot. Okay, so I made a mistake. It was actually supposed to be 8. So go ahead and cut yours at 8 rings. I am going to take off the single ring, I think, and then do the 4. Actually, I'll do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that one was the only one with the 5 and 5. So okay, so I'd need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, you know what, we need 6, not 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's supposed to be 6 and 4, but I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's fine. So I'm gonna have 6, 2 6s, and 2 5s because I needed 2 5s. And I hope this doesn't confuse anybody, but basically if you have trouble following this part, just copy the first part because that one went smoothly. And so I have 2 that have 6, and I have 2 that have 5. So I'm caught up with that. I need 1 more. Actually, I need 1 that has 8. And then I will do my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I guess it really doesn't completely matter if they're not exactly, because like I said, you know, I'm not always the best at following the instructions, but this time this is what I get for trying to follow the instructions. And then I miscounted here. So 8 on that one. And then I know I need 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And that'll give me a 6. Okay, so I have a 6 and a 4. Actually, I need a second 4. I need 2 4s. So I'm just going to do 4 and 4, and then I'll have a 2, and it's okay. I will figure out what to do with it. Even if I wind up putting them back together later, it'll work out for me somehow. I'm going to make it work. There we go. So this 2 is going to be kind of on the side here for me. And we are done with our trimmer, probably just in time. All right. So pull out your base pages. You want to figure out your left side of your page is going to have a lot of the rings going across the bottom part of it. And then the right side is going to have a mat. It's going to have some more pictures. So I'm going to make this geometric on my tone on tone, my left side of my page. And let's just go ahead and see what we need to do here. We need our larger piece that we cut from our tone on tone paper. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use this fern side, or the leaf side. And then I also need one of my pieces that we cut using the wave blade, and I am going to go ahead and use the floral side of that. That's going to go above. And then we need a bunch of our rings. So this actually is going to go up. Let me see here. I'm going to measure with one of these 8 ones. Yep, this is an 8 one, and it looks like it goes just above. Okay, so this needs to be a little bit higher on my page. And then this part of the first ring is behind this other one. So, and you don't want it actually all the way to the bottom of the page. You want it up just a little bit from the page. So let's go ahead and I think having this down is going to help us place our rings going across more evenly. So I am going to go ahead and place our larger piece first here. I don't know, this project recipe is making my head hurt a little bit. This one is not one of my designs, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and put this up. Let's see if I can get that under there. I'll use my multi-purpose tool when that comes to our actual placement, but I want to line that up nicely going across the page so we have a nice straight even base to work with. I'm going to go ahead and put down this one. Let me get my repositionable and parchment board, because sometimes these little pieces, if you don't go exactly straight, you wind up going off with the regular tape runner, and then it's hard. You gotta sit there and fold it under. So our 1/2 inch piece that we cut with the wave blade is gonna go just right up here. And it's okay to have a little bit of space because we are going to use one of our border stickers as well in between here. So that looks great. There we go. Okay, now let's see here. We're going to just go ahead and let's see, there's 14 of our rings are going to be going across our page. Let me go ahead and get them placed so that way I can check the spacing. And we actually are going to mix up our tones and our sides of our rings. So we're going to use both sides of our papers, but I want to check at least the spacing. Ones with the four punches we're setting aside. We're using our other punched pieces, and here we go. This one is longer, and then we end on a shorter one. Okay, I'm starting and finishing with the same, but you guys know I really like the symmetry. So I have this, I think I may attach here because it's still going to look shorter to end us off with, or I could put it, no, I like ending it a little bit longer. Okay. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12. Yep, that's 14 pieces. And you can see where they are kind of just, they do have a little bit of space in between, but not a ton. Let me get my multi-purpose tool so I can kind of make sure, yeah, my edge of my paper's gonna work nicely for me. And I'm gonna grab my parchment board. If you all haven't seen my parchment board before, it's a piece of parchment on a sturdy piece of cardboard, and I've used electrical tape to attach the parchment paper to the board. It just makes a really nice clean surface to work with my repositionable tape runner, and it keeps the pieces from getting caught in between the punched parts. What doesn't come out of the tape runner stays in the tape runner, and it also doesn't stick to the parchment board, but it gives us the tape on our piece that we need to stick down. All right, so here we go. Putting this under, just inside from the edge here. Put that down, get it lined up nice and straight. Oops, and of course I'm crooked, but that's why I didn't push down all the way, except I do have a little bit that's sticking already. This is why we use the repositionable tape for these things. Okay, work with me here. I can see where this particular project recipe might be one that I will not be doing regularly. It's just a little bit fussy for me, but I'm sure it's going to look gorgeous when we're done. It already is starting to look springy and beautiful. It just maybe takes a little bit too much focus for me or something. We'll see. Here we go. Second one is in. And these are pretty much kind of lining up around the same point here. So moving right along. At least that second one cooperated a little bit nicer. Here we go. All right. And I can tell where I've missed little spots here. That's one nice thing with the repositionable tape runner. It's just a series of dots. I'll try to hold it closer. I don't know if you can actually see those or not, maybe when I dip it in the light like that. But it's so nice to have options with our tape and being able to put these down. Here we go. This one needs to come out. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to keep picking up the one next to it to make my life easier as well. And that's going to go right there-ish. Okay. Moving right along. That one went a little bit crooked, so I'm just straightening it out a hair here. And Uh-oh, I think that one was over here. Let me get this next one out of the way. We're doing this one next. And where can I work so you all can see me? I'm just going to go ahead and put this on top and just keep moving it until we get across enough that I don't have to move it quite so much. Actually, maybe I can put it up there. Seems like a better option. Okay, putting this under. Okay, so I've had to go underneath a couple of these pieces as well, just to get them in the right place, or roughly in the right place, going underneath the sheet on top here. And some I'm putting a little bit further up than others. You can see where they're not all exactly in the precise order. I think that would just really hurt my head too much to try to do that. If you want to, that is up to you. Be my guest. I would love to see you put a picture of that under the comments. If you do get yours exactly. But for now, I think mine's okay, where some are a little up and some are a little lower. It helps to add to this bottom layering look of the different lengths of the circle chain punched pieces that we did. Okay, putting this up. Oops. Okay, this one doesn't want to cooperate. Let's see if I can lift that up first. Okay, get a different grip on this thing. There we go. And then I can go under it with my multi-purpose tool as well and get that set so it'll go straight for me. This one's off just a little bit going down here. Okay, that one's next. Flowers going up and down. Here we go. Oh, I finally think I'm getting my groove here. Maybe. I'm probably going to speak too soon and wind up jinxing myself. This over just a little because we have quite a few still to place. There we go. All right. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I can fix that when I place it under. We'll just... It didn't rip, it just bent a little bit. And you know what? I'm actually going to put the little bent in. Not in the part where I'm trying to fussy put it underneath this thing. I'm going to put the bent end down because you know what? We have tape runner on it and it will stick. Which is not a bad thing. So it's okay that it bent a little bit. There we go. See? Paper. You can always fix it. It always kind of works out for you. Even if it is a little fussy sometimes. That one went under really nicely. And here's our final one. I think we'll piece that at the bottom. And by using the gold side of this, we don't have to worry about trying to match up our floral side at all. This under. Okay, go nice and straight for me here. There we go. And I'm just gonna piece my last odd one on the bottom here. And nobody should know the difference. I'm gonna put my two cut parts together. Voila. And you know what? That's another also a good opportunity for a sticker. We can put a couple of stickers in this bottom part here. And I probably will put like a little, I don't know, bumblebee flower or butterfly or something down there, just to also hide the seam here. Stickers are fun. Our left side of our page is done. What a relief. Now it's time to do the right side. Here we go. Let me see if this one has a top and a bottom. It looks like yes. Our butterflies and birds are going a certain direction. All right. Oh boy. Hopefully everybody's ready for the right side of the page now. Like I said, this one shouldn't be quite so fussy. We have our two mats that will be placed on the left side of the page here. And we have our other strip that we took from our tonal paper here. And finally our other strip, which I'm going to still leave with the floral side up. I figure if I fussy cut it for the flowers, we are going to show the flowers. Now again, this kind of is going to go a little bit more to the right, and this is going to go to the right as well. I'm going to go ahead and place this first. Again with my repositionable tape, because I am not that so good that I just want to get the tape on here. It doesn't really matter if a little bit of it goes off the edge, and I don't really want to futz around with the permanent tape there. So here we go. We're going to move this in just a little bit from the edge, if I can get it to cooperate with me here. There we go. So that's about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge of our paper. And we are going to need the parchment boards again. Remember, we still have these little 4 ones. I was trying not to remind you all too soon about those, but they're coming. Here's our strip is going next to our little floral piece here. And again, we're going to be adding a border sticker, so it's okay if you have just a little bit of the blue showing in between. Grab my, work with me. Here we go. My multi-purpose tool to kind of help me get this straight. Here we go. Sorry, that went crooked for you all while I was trying to get that down, but I'll straighten it out. There we go. And now our two mats. So we have one in this space up here, and one there we go. Next we need to place our, so on the project recipe it has 3 by 3 inch photos in the space over here. And then we have our chains in between. So let me get out my ruler and I'm going to measure. So I have enough space for a 3 by 3 photo in the top of my, so 3 inches would go to 0. I'm going to actually place my 0 centering ruler here. I'm going to give myself an extra 1/4 of an inch. So this way I know when I go to place my chain pieces, I need to be across where my 0 is on my 0 centering ruler. Hence, this is the 0. It's the center. It's where I need to be. And I'm going to start on the right and go across. Let's see, do I want to repeat the flowers since I have so many flowers? No, I think I'm going to keep it with this darker yellow, and I need the lighter green because otherwise you're putting this on here and you're not going to see it. So here we go. Let me move this up so you can see it a little bit better as well. I apologize if I wound up off the camera for a minute there. I think I just started thinking about these things again and went, ugh. All right, so that's 3 1/4. My chain is going to start here at the 0. Let me get my multi-purpose tool out again. It's just so handy it's so helpful. If I quit moving my ruler here, maybe I can actually find my 0 here and get this so it'll be straight going down, or at least relatively straight. There you go. The first one's down. Whew. And this punch is beautiful. It's the way we're using it is a little bit fussy, but I'm okay. There we go. So these you do want to try to make a little bit more even going across, whereas on our other side we kind of wanted the offset a bit more. Here's the third one. Three and a quarter. And I probably should have spaced it out just a little bit more with those first two. So I'm going to go back and probably fix those because that's going to bother me. Here we go. So that one is exactly pretty much where I want it. Let me move my ruler. I am going to move this one just a little bit. Going under with my multi-purpose tool. I probably shouldn't have pressed down until I knew I had them set, but on the other side it worked out nicely for me on this side. There we go, maybe not as much. Fix that. Okay, I wound up with a couple of little pieces of the repositionable tape showing, but that's okay too. It's just a little bit of tape. So now, let me show you both of our pages, and then I'm going to add a few extras because we do have our border stickers and a mat that we can place, and that's an optional thing. But this page seems like it does need a little something extra. So here's our 2 pages next to each other, and I'm going to take a look first at my mats. 4x6 mat will fit in this space here, and I don't know if I want to bring in some more of the blue, or I picked a couple of these green ones mostly because I had this dark green showing already. Maybe we'll do that because this kind of repeats the pattern here. Spring, a lovely reminder of how beautiful change can truly be. Some of our sayings are just so wonderful. They're very thoughtful. So I'm going to go ahead and place my mat first. This is one of our smaller mats, the 4x6. And just putting a little bit of our tape on it. And you could have easily, if you want later, I mean, I can still cut down and cover this with a picture, but I like the little saying. So I'll put my picture here. And then remember, we also have the space for 3 3x3 pictures, or you could probably even do a 3x6 picture down here. Next, I'm going to take a look at my border stickers because we need one for our space here and one for our space up here. And I am thinking that that's not going to work for me. That's too much. orange is going to work for me either. Huh, we could actually repeat our yellow flowers, but I don't know if that would be too much yellow flower up there. But we could also do a couple of our little sayings as well. But I almost like the blue wave because it repeats our blue base. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. Place my first one. Hang on, let me... sometimes there's only so much space on the table to work, huh? Okay, here we go. Let's place this one first on the left-hand side here. And if I can get it to cooperate as usual. Like I said, I felt like I jinxed myself earlier a little bit. Here we go. Pretty close. Except I am just a little bit off. Multi-purpose tool to the rescue again. There we go. Oops. That didn't help me. Hang on. Back under the correct thing here. There we go. Okay. And you see, I always tell the ladies that come to my crops, you can't make any mistakes that I haven't already made. Because it's true. There's just life, you know, things happen. And it's okay. And they're usually fixable. We have tools that can help us fix them. That's what that multi-purpose tool's for. So, where did I put my other one? Here. Look, that's what I get. Okay, here we go. Here is our second wave. That's going to go on this page. If I can get it to cooperate as well. And I'm just very ever so lightly putting it because I have a feeling I'm going to have to move this up just a little. Oops. Here we go. I'm going to hold it at the bottom and try stringing it to the top. There we go. That actually worked out nicely. I'm going to grab my multi-purpose tool again. I'm going to put it so my circle piece is on top of the sticker if I can do it. Let's see here. Uh-oh, now my sticker's stuck to my piece here. Let's see if I can get it. There's one. Here is this. Wow, yay! Okay. All right. Like I said, sometimes having these little tools helps. Our circles are complete, our border piece is down, and I am going to take a look at our stickers because remember, I want to put a sticker down here. Like I said, some of these things can be corrected with stickers. I'm going to set my border stickers aside, and I'm also going to pull out some of my embellishments as well, because one of those might work also with these pages. There we go with that. Kind of like adding the little pops of color. Working on my right side of the paper first. I've picked out some embellishments to place here to break things up a little bit. I am going to adhere this flower, white flower clump first. Down here. And then I'm going to add my, I'm sure somebody knows the name of this flower. If you want to leave it in the comments, that would be great. I'm going to use a large foam square on this one, and I'm going to layer it kind of on top of my white flowers a little bit because it adds just that extra little pop of color as well as dimension. And then I'm going to place my leaves behind as well if I can pick them up. Get a little bit of repositionable tape on this one. That's going to go here, kind of behind and on top. So we're kind of almost creating a little bit of a cluster over here. And I might raise this one up as well. And for that, I'm gonna, let's see if I need to cut a foam square or not. One of the little ones. Oh, looks like it's gonna fit just right. Here we go. So we kind of have half of our embellishments down and half raised, and it adds just a whole lot of interest to our page here. Now on the opposite side of the page, we move this one. I'm going to use some stickers, and I've picked out this one here that I'm going to put a couple of large foam squares under. Let's get this to cooperate with me. Otherwise, I'm just going to grab my, I'm going to grab my microtip scissors and cut that so you can't see that little bit of foam square that didn't cooperate nicely with me. And just trim that little bit off. And I know I've mentioned it before, but nothing sticks to these scissors. It's wonderful. So now that I just cut that thing, you don't even feel any of the sticky on there. It's stuck to my fingernail. Let's see if I can actually get that off. Okay. And here's my other foam square going on where I want it to go this time. And I'm going to place this over here in the middle of my kind of more plainer area of my circles. So I'm going to kind of center it in between the darker pieces here, and it gives me a little bit of motion also through this part of the page. I want to add some of my red or orangey florals as well, because then it'll complement the one that's on this side of the page here. And of course, right over the top of my seam. I told you I would get that covered up. And we're going to add a couple more, just so this way the eyes flow nicely through the pages. Let me move some of the stuff out of the way here. And getting both of my pages together, I'm going to put one probably up here. And let's see. I might go ahead and put this larger one down on the bottom as well, because then it kind of moves your eye through, and then you'll have your pictures. You can place 3 pictures going across here, and then they do have a little sticker cluster up in the top, but I don't want to add a sticker cluster until I know what pictures I'm putting. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here because it also repeats the flower here. And then I might put one more. Let's see, we have that. I'll put one more probably up over here. So that way the little ones are kind of looking like they're cascading. Okay, this has a little piece in it that needs to pop out in between the flowers. Let me see if I can actually get it unstuck from my finger. And I'm going to grab a couple of the smaller foam squares for this one as well. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to put this one down, but I'm going to put a foam square under the other little red flower. I'm going to pop that one up. Hang on. Here we go. This here. And that way we have an odd number. And it looks like it's meant to be. There we go. I usually don't try not to over decorate or overdo my pages until I get the pictures, but this project recipe just kind of felt like it needed a little bit more. So I wanted to show you all an idea of what you could do with it. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one with the Endless Meadows. I will be doing the It's Fall, Y'all coming up next. All right, is everybody ready to move into the second part of our mashup? I hope so, because we are going to use our It's Fall, Y'all collection. And I've picked out a sheet of our designer paper, actually 2 sheets of our designer paper and 2 sheets of our tone on tone. So this is the designer paper I picked, and our tone on tone. And for the base, I have picked this sheet of designer paper. I am going to keep it with the dashes and the dots on the tone on tone. So we'll have a green base to our pages once we get to those put together. Let me grab out my, I'm going to call it my punching mat now coming up here. My baking silicone line mat for when we have all of our pieces. I am pulling out the bottom tray in my border maker system again. I have switched out my cartridge. I am now going to be using the mirrored triangles. See if that works maybe a little bit more friendly for this design. I don't know. We'll find out. So here we go. This paper doesn't really matter which direction we put it in, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. I'm going to cut my 3 mirrored triangle borders. So apparently I had a little bit of slipping in that one, which I guess might work out for us. We can cut it through here for once we go to do our trimming down of our borders. This is what I get for trying to be quick and fast with these. I am going to cut 1/8 of an inch off the edge of my paper, and we'll see. I'll work on fixing that. Get this out, grab my 12-inch trimmer real quick. And cut 1/8 of an inch off. You just go from, your blade is always running along the left dotted line, and the right dotted line is your 1/8 of an inch. There we go, straightening my paper out. I will keep that for the cards. You know I will. Let's see if I can get my third one to cooperate a little bit better with me here. Okay, so that is 3 of the mirrored triangle from our tone on tone paper. Most of this collection, the tone on tone, either has a grid or almost like a calendar look to it. I'm going to set that aside and grab my other sheet as soon as I put some of this into my baggie. Okay. Now, this one is my designer sheet, and I think I am going to go ahead and cut it this way so that way we get more of a solid color through our punches here. And we're just going to feed this in and do this right-handed for you. I know sometimes I do it left-handed and sometimes I do it right-handed, but we are going to punch 3 more mirrored triangle borders. Goodness gracious. Okay. I'm not sure how I managed to do some of these things, but we'll grab the scissors again and fix this. I must have just shifted, not put it in all the way, but we will work with it since we have to cut the different lengths. I'll just cut it at this length. In fact, it looks almost exactly the same point as it is on this one. It is. So I'll just cut these 2 through here, and maybe that'll be the one that we only need 2 matching lengths of. But I need to cut through here as well. We'll see. All right. Let me trim this one a little bit as well. And put my scissors aside. Get all this into the baggie. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do project recipes on a Monday. It seems like it's been, I don't know. This project recipe has been a challenging one for me for whatever reason. Okay, let's get these little wisps out of the way. Set aside my baking mat. Get some of these back into the thing. We'll see if we can't work these into a card. And again, a lot of confetti to think about, maybe come up with an idea for. It's going to be an interesting set of cards. I'm going to go ahead and cut the 1/8 of an inch off of here. Set those up a little bit. All right. Setting aside my paper holder for my border maker. And now I'm going to figure out which piece I want to have as my larger piece across the left side of my page. I believe I'm gonna go with the this one, 5.5 by 12, and then 3 1/4 by 12. So I did straighten this one out, didn't I? Let me just go from the left here. So 5.5 is pretty much right in the crease of when you pull out your arm on the trimmer. So I found that you can easily use this edge of this blue part here as your guide when you don't need to pull out the arm. And then we need 3 1/4 by 12 for our other piece. Let's see, here's 3 1/4 is our next grid line. Do we have 3¼ We don't quite have 3¼ because we had to cut off that little bit of extra. So we're gonna have to go with what we have. And it'll be okay. That I'm a little bit shorter. Hopefully you all didn't have to trim off the little extra from yours as well. Next, we are going to cut our mats, and for that we need, hang on, 6½ by 4½. We need 2 of them. So here's 6½, and then 4½ twice, 4½. This piece is for our cards. And remember, we used the wave blade the last time. I think I'm going to go with the decal blade instead this time, just to show a slightly different look. And we said it was a 1/2 inch pieces that we needed. So you have to remember you need to cut off about 1/4. Let me see how much that leaves me with. Okay, yes, I do have enough to do 2½ inches. All right, so I'm taking off my 1/4 inch first to get my blade going. And then we need 2 1/2 inch pieces, which is just this end line here. There's 1, and here is going to be 2, if I can figure out where I am on here. There we go. Oh, that looks nice. All right, and then this piece is extra. And I don't think I'm going to try to do anything with that because the last time, well, you know what? Why not? You know what I did forget to do though? I forgot to switch my mat before I started cutting, which means that my other one might be a little bit off, but it is what it is. I'm going to see if I can get 1/4 inch off of this side. Try it anyways. Let's see if I can hold it down here and then hold it up here to keep there we go. That actually worked out much smoother for me. So we'll have a nice deckled piece for our cards, and then this little edging, that actually worked out reasonably well for me. I don't want to say finally, but it's been that kind of a project recipe, I think. You have to laugh. It's okay. It's, like I always say, it's just paper. It is. It can be corrected. It's all right. So here we go. What do we need to do? We need to get the left side of our page. No, we don't. We need to keep our trimmer out because we need to figure out our sizes of our mirrored triangles. So we have, what, 14 going down again, and we need the 4 smaller ones for the side. Okay, hang on, let me see. This one's messed up. This one's messed up. So these two we know we need to cut along the same lines. This one has this here as well. My punching did not go as smooth as I would have liked. Here's that. Okay, so let's start here and cut this one. I'm going to cut this one through here, the same spot on both. Let me see if I can actually get them to line up and cooperate here. I don't know. No, because they're not even. So let's not live dangerously. And you know what? I'm just going to do this. Because this one literally just has a couple of small, look at that. There's that. I'm going to actually go ahead and pull this one also. I feel like I had another one that was at this point. And this might be the better way to do this just because of the delicate nature of things here. So that one's done. This one is going to have a 2-piece coming off of it because this one's off just a little bit as well. See if I can get my scissors in there. There we go. And then I'm just trimming out this little bit that stayed with it because on the mirrored triangle you want to have it a little bit cleaner. There we go. Okay, so there's that. That one's set now. And this one. Okay. Where am I here on this? This is about the same point as the other one, wasn't it? And like I said, I hope yours turned out much cleaner than mine. But there's always a way to fix these things. Just clean it up just a little. And this gave me an opportunity to show y'all how to just roll with it. There's no need to toss the entire piece. And we can just go with it now. I have, boy, these look really similar when it's on the front side here. I'm gonna have to really pay attention when I do these on when we're placing them, so we have some differences between these pieces. Okay, so I have 3 long ones that are all 12 inches. I have some short ones over here. I think what I'm gonna do is I have some of these already that are at 5 of the mirrored triangles. I'm gonna do, I have 3 of these stacked. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm gonna split it in the middle here. Get my cutting guide to help me. Okay. So those are 7. So we have 3 of those, and then we are gonna need at least 2 more of these 2s. So if I took off 2, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. Okay, that might not work on this one. Let's see if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if I'm going to take 2 off of that one. So let's do, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll put this in between with 5 on one side and 4 on the other. Okay. So we have some different sizes here, and then I know I'm probably gonna, let's say I definitely need more of the 2s. So if I take 2 2s from this one, then it gives me a 4. And I guess that's okay. So let's do that. Two and 2. Actually, I'm going to take it from the other end because all these others have at least one of the end pieces with like the halves on it. So let's do that. Okay. Then we have another 4-piece. So let's see. We needed 14 of the other ones to go across the page. I currently have 1, 2, 12. I think because my other little pieces are so little, I'm actually going to save this one for my cards. And I'm going to cut this one. I think it just wound up where since I had the issues with the punch, it kind of changed how I wound up cutting these, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to cut this actually halfway through this one, because that's the middle of this mirrored chain. And we're just going to go with it and figure it out as we put the page together a bit, because we need different lengths anyways for the different pieces going across. All right. So for the left side of the page, I'm going to use the dashes, which was my designer paper page. And we are going to go ahead and grab our larger piece of paper that's going to go across the top, and then this is going to go a little bit towards the top as well. So let me grab my tape runner. Here we go. And this is going to go towards the top here. I want to leave enough space so this has a little space. Okay. Just so we have an even line to work under again. We will use our multi-purpose tool again to help out. Grab my parchment board and my repositionable tape. And this piece is going to go across the top of our page. And I don't have any more border stickers for the It's Fall Y'all in my collection, but I do have some laser cut borders, so I am still going to leave the little bit of space, and once we get to the point where we're at the end, I will figure out if I can put another border up here. And now comes the fun part. Let's place some of these so we know where we're going to be sticking these things. So we are going to try this. Let's see how it works out for us. Again, bear with me here. I'm going to pull out the next two because it's a little bit tighter spacing in here. Okay, up and under. There you go. So I'm working really close to the edge as I can here because I know my spacing is tighter. Get these next two out of here. And this way I've got it. Oh, here we go. This can actually go in close if I line it up in between here. There we go. So you see, instead of having where we had our, hang on. Oops. All right. where we had a lot of our circles kind of almost bumping out. On this one, we're going to actually put our mirrored triangle bumps in between, like we're going to stagger it just a little bit more to fit these in a little bit better. Whoops. There we go. Nice. Okay. Get out these next two. Scoot that over. Put those there. Whoops. So this one's going to have to go under a little bit more. All right. There we go. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Well, I didn't even push on it and it's already getting itself stuck here. There we go. Getting it lined up in here. Get the little bit of repositionable tape off the end of my multi-purpose tool here. Let's see here. Get these next two out of the line. Wonder, yes, actually that would help if I flip this one to fit it to this spot here. There we go. So it needs to go under just a hair's bit more. Here we go. Nope. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go again. Let's get these two lined up over here. Because that one is a little bit off too. Maybe I should have taken care of that one with my scissors also, but it's okay. Take the next two out, scoot these two over. And of course my tape runner ran out. Well, this gives me a quick opportunity to show you all how to change out the tape runners. You just push down on the two tabs on either side at the top and bottom. Lift off the top part of the holder. I know my tape runner's out because I've got this white strip here. Everything but the tape is recyclable if your area has that type of recycling. And you just pop this wheel back on into your holder. Make sure your tabs are lined up at the end and on the center end. We're back in business already. Okay, I need to get this very end here. There we go. Grab my multi-purpose tool again, and I am going to just center this as best I can. And I'm kind of going to put it down because this one was just a little bit off because of the offset part here. So we'll just work more from this one going over. Oops. I don't know why that one decided it wanted to stick so quickly. Here we go. All right, this one needs to go this direction. I looked up my entire piece of tape, or did I not have a piece of tape under this corner? I might not have a piece of tape under this corner. I might need to correct that. Here we are. Okay. Last one. Hooray. I don't know. Almost feels like this one's making me concentrate too hard also. I'm getting a little bit of a headache again. Here we go. Grab my other tape runner here and put a little... Now this is what I was talking about. If you go a little bit too far, just fold it under, because I went a little bit too far on this one. There we go. So at least now that's done. A little bit of tape runner on my finger I need to get off. There we go. Okay. Whew. Our left side is done again. This one, it takes a bit, doesn't it? And now on to the right side of our page, where we will place our mats and our other longer piece here. And then we'll grab out our other shorter pieces. So we'll do this one first with the repositionable while I've got the parchment board still out. Here we go. And yep, you can put these either side, whatever works for you. I'm actually I've like got 2 little rows of dots all the way around, which is kind of fun. I think I'm gonna flip one of these, and we'll see if I'm happy about that later, but it's okay. It's a photo mat. It's gonna get covered up a bit anyways. And the top one, I will be putting another mat in. There we go. Okay, so let's get out our last ones of these. Let's see if these are all okay. Well, I didn't really do myself too many favors by not paying attention to which paper it was from. So I can put maybe my striped one on the left, and then maybe do an orange. Maybe I'll do the grids in the orange. Let's see. Do these match? This matches. This doesn't. We'll go like that because these at least have the same shape and these have the same shape. And I think that is going to be as good as it's going to get for this page for me on this Monday. Or at least I'm filming on a Monday anyways. And we said, what, 3 1/4 inches off the top of our page here. There's my 3 1/4. And we'll start from the right again. Where's my 0 up here? I almost grabbed the wrong tape runner. Maybe I need to move that off my parchment. I think I'm going to do the similar to how I did on the other and actually offset these a little bit. Here we go. Oh. Give me the multi-purpose tool. I need to fix this one. Went ahead and stuck itself down before, or I stuck it down before I was ready to have it on there. There we go. And finally, here's our last one. Okay. Done. Woo! Those are fussy. All right, let's move the ruler out of the way. I have a couple of journal box or mats. These are both have journal boxes, but I wasn't sure which one I might like. If I like either of them, I might even, no, that's not gonna work either, is it? Let me grab my other sheet. Because sometimes it's easier to tell when you have both sheets together. Let me move my parchment board. Here are both of our sheets. Take that off of there. We have both our sheets complete. I don't think either one of these are going to do me any favors, so I am not going to use them. I will probably just put pictures and it will be okay. So I think I figured out what I'm going to use here now. We have this, I can smell autumn dancing in the breeze, the sweet chill of pumpkin and crisp sunburst leaves. I'm going to put that sticker on the left side here, of course, with one of my larger foam squares, if I can find them from earlier, buried in my scrap pile for my cards. Which is okay. Here we go. We're gonna just do this. I think I'm gonna do 3 of them. Just because I want this circle to be held up nicely. Here we go. Oof. I'm gonna put some small ones with the big one. Otherwise, I probably should have just done a triangle of large ones instead of just putting it in the center when I began. But like I said, this is what I get for filming on a Monday. Here we go. So this one's going to go over here. I think it just looks really nice with the coloring of these stripes and pages. I also found I did have a couple of border stickers. I had cut them in half, I think for some cards or something. But I am going to go ahead and run them across through here anyways, because I have them. Why not use them? Here we go. Start on this right side here. Grab this other piece, and honestly, I'm gonna scoot this whole thing over so y'all can see a little better. Here we go. I don't know if it's easier or harder to place this one versus the other one that I had issues getting it lined up also with when it was one solid piece. And now I'm going to bring back in my right side of my page, and I'm going to run the other acorns up this side here. And don't forget, you can do a 3x6 or 2 3x3 and another 3x3 picture in here. Whoops. That didn't want to cooperate nicely with me. And my multi-purpose tool. I am going to be prepared this time. Kind of lift these guys up so it'll be ready for me to place the sticker underneath it, because the sticker isn't that wide, but it looks like it is going to overlap in places, and I do want the mirrored triangle to show over the top here. So I'm just going to place this gently. There we go. And making sure that's lined up, get that put back down. Ah, done. Hallelujah. Okay, here we go. Left, right side is done. Left side we need to finish. And, okay. For this left side, I have this lovely wheelbarrow that I'm going to place down. This one doesn't look like it has any pop outs, but we will pop it up. 2 large and 1 small, I think, is going to work for this one. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this one a little bit lower than what I did on the other page. There's that, my wheelbarrow. And I like these mushrooms. I think they complement the acorns nicely. So I'm going to kind of have a little patch of mushrooms down here, and I'm debating if I want to put the rake on here as well, as if somebody was raking and just decided to walk away from it. I don't know. Maybe with the maybe not. Here's this one, and so we have our 3 little mushrooms and a mushroom patch here. And then I have a few of these enameled pieces that there's a couple of acorns in here as well. And I'm thinking about placing these under. Let me just make sure. Because remember how we did our other page where we had the matching flower over here. So I may actually go ahead and put an acorn up in the corner. And these enameled pieces are all self-sticking, which is nice. I will leave probably these dots for our cards. Hopefully I won't forget to use them. I guess we'll see when I get to those. And here's one other acorn that's going to go, I think, just down here. Okay, there we go. What do y'all think? Hopefully it was worth the effort, because this project recipe was definitely a lot of effort, placing all these little punched pieces. But I hope you all enjoyed it. And there will be more project recipe mashups coming. So until next time.